सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Hari Om. We have seen first 3 verses of this wonderful text Vivekachoodamani. The first verse is of course Mangalacharana, the invocation prayer. We saw how Shankaracharya ji in one verse itself prostrates to his Ishtadevata, prostrates to his Guru, and also offers his salutations to the Supreme Brahman, which is none other than our own self. We have seen that. In the second verse, Shankaracharya ji gives the entire spiritual path, also explaining what are the things with which we can get liberation. And while doing this, he also gives the entire content of the text. So topic wise, how the text is going to progress is given in the second verse itself. I had asked you to try and memorize the verse. Okay. So let us try. Let us chant the second verse together. Jantunam narajanma durlabhaṃ puṃstvaṃ tato viprata tasmādvaidikadharmamargaparata vidvatvamasmāt param ātmānātmavivechanam svanubhavo brahmātmana samsthitihi muktirno shatajanma koti sukritaihi puññairvina labdhyate. While explaining this entire content of the text and while giving the spiritual path, the most important thing that Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya has did is what? He has given in the levels of rarity the qualities that one must have. So he has also said that mānuṣaṃ is durlabha among all the beings. Then than that mānuṣaṃ, what is more durlabha? Puṃstvaṃ. Puṃstvaṃ is manliness, the human qualities. Then than that viprata, viprata noble qualities. Then than the viprata, what is more rare? Tasmāt vaidika dharma marga parata, steadfastness in the righteous path given by the Vedas. Than this, what is more rare? Vidvatvam, correct knowledge. Right? So this correct knowledge was indicative of Shravana, that you go to surrender unto a Guru and get Shravana. Vidvatvam. Than Vidvatvam, what is even more rare? Atma anatma vivechanam. There are many people who just listen to many talks, but no more thinking happens after the session. Session is over, topic is over. Then when the next session comes, they will again listen. But there is no reflection that is happening, because of which the knowledge doesn't become personal. Right? So than vidvatvam, what is more rare? Atma anatma vivechanam. Okay, I did that also. Even rarer than that is what? Svanubhavaha. Svanubhavaha, sushtu anubhavaha. A perfect experience. Not that I just know it intellectually. I have no doubt. Intellectually, I have understood everything. Not sufficient. I know it as my experience. Only when we experience something, we tell it with full force. Fire is hot. That we all know. Science also says. But when we get it, then we say, don't even try. Why? Because now that is experience. No more a theoretical knowledge. So Svanubhava is even more rare than Svanubhava. What is rarer? Brahmatmana samsthitihi. Being established in that experience. So the experience is not just fleeting experience that stays for some time, but I am established in that experience. It is ever there in me. This is the final stage of samadhi. And after that what? After that the destination, muktihi. Shankaracharya ji comments by saying this liberation, which is the rarest among all the other things, no shatajanma koti sakritaihi punyehi vina labhyate. Unless you have performed good actions in many births, shatajanma koti, 100 crore births, when you have performed good actions, the result of that alone can give liberation. Vina, without that, muktihi na. Liberation is not possible. So now what we have to do? Simple thing is what? Understand on which level we are. We all are human beings. Okay, so at least level 1 we are. Right? That is first thing. Because otherwise what will happen? Some of us will be excluded. No, none of us are excluded. All of us are human beings. So we are in between 1 to 9. Some step we are in. Okay? Now, some of us may be liberated also. So maybe on the 9th step. But we are within that. 1 to 9. Then find out where are we and then go to the next step. That's what Shankaracharya is urging us to do. And of course, we have seen how this whole thing also becomes path, human birth, then human qualities. Then when it is said viprata, noble qualities, we are referring in Vedanta as sadhana chatushtaya. Then comes guru upasadana, approaching a guru with complete surrender. Then comes Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, listening, reflecting and meditating. Then comes Samadhi, the final stages of contemplation. And then what? Then finally liberation. So this way Shankaracharya also gives entire spiritual path, and he also gives the content of the text. We have seen from which verse to which verse, which topic is being taken. That we have seen in the previous session. Right? That was the second verse. Brilliant verse. Sometimes people think that, it is a pessimistic verse. Because you are saying that unless you have performed good actions for 100 crore births, you won't get mukti. Don't take it that way. Take it this way. What? That if you have performed good actions for 100 crore births, you will certainly get mukti. Vedanta is promising liberation. It is saying that liberation is possible. It may be tough, but it is possible. And also please remember, this might be our 100 crore and 1 first birth. We never know. We might have done good actions in the past for 100 crore birth. That's why we got this opportunity. Isn't it? So don't take it as a negative, pessimistic thought. Take it as a positive thought that liberation is possible and I can get it. I should get it. I will get it. Right? That's what he again emphasizes on in the next verse also, where he says that 3 things are very rare. Durlabhaṃ trayam eva etat. Deva anugraha hetukam. And these 3 things are caused by the grace of the Lord. What are they? What are those things? Manuṣyattvam, mumukshutvam, mahapurusha samshayah. Manuṣyatvam, first you have got manuṣyatva, the human birth or human qualities. Mumukshutvam, then the desire for liberation has come. So many human beings are there who don't even know what is liberation, don't even have that desire. But if we have got that, that is second thing which is very rare. And third thing is what? Mahapurusha samshayah, coming under the umbrella of a great Mahatma. In the last session, we saw how do we come under the folds of our Guru. How do we find Guru? We actually don't find Guru. We just have to open up and Guru finds us. All those points we have seen. And now closely look into your own life. You will see that these three rare things are already with us. Isn't it? It is not something which has come just by fluke. In the previous verse, Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya said that it is the result of good actions performed for 100 crore births, for many, many births. Here 100 crore is also not a number. In Sanskrit, Shata, Sahasra, Koti, these are not just numbers. It is saying the quantity of it, that huge amount. That's what they want to say. For many births we must have performed good action. As a result of it, we have got these three things. But here in this verse, Shankaracharya says, even more than your action, what is important? Deva anugraha hetukam. These things have come to us by the grace of the Lord. Means what? We should always feel that if we have got these things, it is only by His grace that we have got it. This thought should be there in us. That will make us more and more humble, and it will also make us responsible for having got these things. Right? By the result of our own actions or by God's grace, we have got these three things. We have manuṣyatva, we have mumukshutva, and we have mahapurusha samshaya. We have come in contact with a great Mahatma. Maybe through his books, maybe through his teaching, maybe through his videos. But we have come in contact with Pujya Gurudev, Bhagavan Shri Adi Shankaracharya Ji. That is our Deva Anugraha. That is our grace of the Lord. Right? Now, Shankaracharya Ji says what? Having got these things, if you still don't try for liberation, what will happen? So that is the next topic that he takes up from verses 4 to 7. We will do the one by one we will see the verses. Verse number 4. Please repeat. Labdhvā kathaṃcinnarajanma durlabhaṃ. Tatrāpi puṃstvaṃ śrutipāradarśanam. Yastvātmamuktau na yateta mūḍhadhīḥ. hyātmahā svaṃ vinihantyasadgrahāt. Labdhvā kathaṃcinnarajanma durlabhaṃ tatrāpi puṃstvaṃ śrutipāradarśanam yastvātmamuktau na yateta mūḍhadhīḥ hyātmahā svaṃ vinihantyasadgrahāt. Let us see the meaning. Labdhvā. Labdhvā, having gained. They are called tvānta. The words that end with tva pratyay, they are incomplete verbs. So it will, whenever such labdhvā, drishtva, kritva, these words you will hear, they are incomplete verbs, which means what? The complete verb will come afterwards. Labdhvā, having gained. What? Kathaṃcit. Somehow. See, look at Look at brilliance of Shankaracharya. In second verse, he said that you get it by the good actions performed in 100 crore births. In the third verse, he said you get it by God's grace. Now he says somehow you have got it. I am not going into the discussion of whether you got it by your own action or by God's grace. I am not going to get into that. Somehow, having gained narajanma durlabhaṃ. Narajanma, human birth. Durlabhaṃ, which is rare. So somehow, having gained this rare human birth, tatrāpi. Tatra, there, api, even there means what? Even in that human birth, puṃstvaṃ, you have got manliness, you have got humane qualities. Śrutipāradarśanam, very interesting word. Shruti means Veda here. Shruti means Veda, that which was heard. We have seen in the introduction also what is Veda, etc. Shruti. Para means shore. Shore of the ocean, like that shore of the Vedas. Darshanam means seeing. Seeing the other shore of the Shruti. Other shore of the Shruti means listening to the end portion of Veda, which is called as Vedanta or which is called as Upanishad. So what all things are rare that we have got? Narajanma, the human birth, puṃstvaṃ, humane qualities, śrutipāradarśanam, a chance to listen to Vedanta, a chance to listen to the Jnana Kanda section of the Veda, a chance to listen to the knowledge of the self. Having gained this, the sentence is not over. What is he saying? Having gained all these rare things, tu, even then, but yaha. Now you see how the words are to be broken. Yastvātmamuktau is actually yaha tu atmamuktau. Yaha, one who, tu, but atmamuktau. Atmamuktau, for liberation of the self. Atmamuktau, to liberate oneself. Na yateta, does not put efforts. No. Yateta, putting effort. Yatna, word you must have heard. Yatna means putting effort. Same root. Na yateta, does not put efforts where in liberating oneself. Atmamuktau na yateta. So what is he saying? A person having got these things, having gained these things, narajanma, puṃstvaṃ, śrutipāradarśana, having gained human birth, having gained manly human qualities, and having got a chance for what? To listen to the Vedanta. Even after all these things, a person who doesn't put efforts to liberate oneself, mūḍhadhīḥ, is a fool, is a deluded intellect. Mūḍhadhīḥ, dhi means intellect. This is one of the favorite words of Shankaracharya. Mūḍha. You read Bhajagovindam, you will understand why I am saying this. Mūḍha, again and again he says. See, who is mūḍha? One who doesn't have intellect or intelligence is not mūḍha. What Shankaracharya says is, one who has got it but doesn't use it is mūḍha. See how he is saying. That person is called as mūḍhadhīḥ. So mūḍhadhīḥ is indicating that person. Yaha, one who doesn't put efforts to get liberation even after having got all these things. Saha, such a person, he, indeed, yatmahā. Yatmahā, atmanam hanti, one who kills oneself. He is the one who is committing suicide. Sahi means saha means he He means indeed. Yatmahā, killer of oneself. What does he do? Svaṃ vinihanti. He kills oneself. He kills oneself. Huh? What? What is a suicide? Vedantic suicide is what? Having got human birth, if you don't put efforts to get liberated, you have committed suicide. Isn't it? Ishavasya Upanishad also says the same thing. Asurya namate lokaha andhena tamasa vrataha tāgam te pretyabhigachanti ye kecha ātmahano janaha. Ātmahanaha, they kill themselves. Why? Because they are not putting efforts to gain liberation. Right? Sahi ātmahā svaṃ vinihanti. But why? Swamiji, important question is why? If he has got human birth, if such a person has got human qualities, if such a person has got a chance to listen to Vedanta, why is he not putting efforts to gain liberation? Asatgrahāt. Asatgrahāt. Graha means to hold on. Because such a person is holding on to asat. Asat means what? Which is not real, which is non-existent, which is not permanent. Because of holding on to such impermanent world, that person doesn't put efforts to gain liberation and svaṃ vinihanti, kills oneself. Now we say, oh, like that. Understood. What understood? Shankaracharya is talking about us. Having got these three things, if we don't put efforts to gain liberation, then we are this mūḍhadhīḥ. We will become a fool. Kenopanishad says, iha chedavedit ata satyamasti. Iha, here, in this birth, where you have got human birth, where you have got human qualities, some kind of, what we say, inclination you have got towards spirituality, if you don't get liberated here in this birth, mahati vinashtihi. He says it's a great loss. Iha chedavedit ata satyamasti. If you get liberated here, then you can say that yes, you did what you were supposed to do. Na chediha vedit. If you don't, mahati vinashtihi. It's a great loss. Again, you see how Upanishads are also saying great loss means what? Having got required things, you are not putting efforts. That's why it is a great loss. Somebody who doesn't have it, we won't say anything, isn't it? That's why always the last person in the queue before whom the lunch break sign comes up finds himself very unlucky. The person behind, he says, anyways, it doesn't matter to me much. Person who is sitting at home doesn't care at all. But he says, I came close, but I could not. Now lunch break, now 1 hour, I have to stop. Isn't it? One who comes very close to coming in merit list, but does not come, feels very dejected, sad. Why? Because he had a chance. He could have, but he didn't. The other people who were not even close have no sorrow. Why? Because they didn't think that they will come there in the merit list. One who has got it but doesn't. See, in our daily life also, we see these such things, isn't it? We say to our children also, so there are children who have capacity but they don't act according to their capacity, and we say that, you are wasting your time. Those who don't have capacity, we don't feel much bad that, they are not. We understand that they are putting efforts all that they can. But those who can put efforts and who are intelligent but don't study, we feel, bad for them. And therefore we keep telling them, please, please, please. That's what Shankaracharya is feeling for all of us. That you have got this. Please now don't miss out on this. Please. So when Shankaracharya is using harsh words, please understand it is to wake us up. It is to hit that spot inside us. That, somewhere we will feel that, correct, I should do something. That's why he is saying, mūḍhadhīḥ, yatmahā, you are committing suicide. Why such harsh words? Shock treatment, because then you will say that, oh, let me do it. See, we are we are very unique kind of creatures, I am telling you, human beings are. We get used to anything very quickly. Even to spirituality, we get used to it very quickly. You listen to Vedanta for some time, then you take it for granted. Vedanta class is there, Vivekachoodamani class is there. Sometimes even if we are not taking it casually and we are focusing completely, but that doesn't sustain after the class. During the class, we are very spiritual. But after the class, slowly that level goes down. Why? Because that is not on the forefront of our mind. We don't take it as something which is must for us. This is the second reason. One thing is we take it casual. Second is because that doesn't sustain. The inspiration to live that doesn't sustain. Third reason is we have got funny ideas that we are never going to die. Though we in between keep thinking, what if I die? But somehow we still think that we have got time. Puja Guruji, Swami Tejomananji always says that the Maya, what is Maya? He says that there is still time, is Maya. For anything. Suppose you want to go for class and you look at the watch or look at the clock and you say, there is still 10 minutes. That is the dangerous thing. Why? Because when those 10 minutes will go away, you never know. Some joke came. Do you want to see magic? You want to see magic? 5 o'clock in the morning you get up and look at the clock and it is 5 o'clock and you snooze the alarm for 10 minutes and you get up at 7 o'clock. 10 minutes have turned 2 hours. You never know. Magic. That's what happens. We think that, I will go. By the time we get up and go, the train has gone. In life also we say, I will do. What? Spirituality, listening, study of Bhagavad Gita. I will do. When? I will do. I will do. This postponing good things, thinking that we still have enough time, is another reason why na yateta, we don't put efforts. All these things, whether it is being casual about it, whether the inspiration not continuing, or whether the procrastination, whether the postponing, all this is because of what? Asadgrahāt. That's how Shankaracharya puts it. What? We are holding on to unreal things. We still think that we will get joy by enjoying the objects. And therefore what? Therefore we still feel that let me enjoy now, later on I will study. People will say, but Vedji, you said that mukti is something which is very rare and having got this human birth. But don't you think that eating pav bhaji is also very rare? Dogs cannot eat pav bhaji, and then we can eat pav bhaji. So why not enjoy? That is asadgrahāt. Nobody is saying that pav bhaji eating is common. Nobody is saying that. Problem with that is what? It is impermanent. How much pav bhaji will you eat? Little bit. How much joy will it give? Little bit. You are not going to remain happy forever just because you ate something. That's not going to happen. But still we have that asakti. We have that kind of attachment towards these worldly pleasures. And because of that, what happens? We don't put efforts for liberation. And thus, we commit spiritual suicide. Right? We remain in ignorance is committing suicide. sahi ātmahā svaṃ vinihantyasadgrahāt. So, okay. What okay? Shankaracharya is telling us, get up, wake up from your sleep of ignorance and put efforts. But I don't feel it much. One more verse, he says. What? Let us read the next verse, verse number 5. Itaḥ ko nvasti mūḍhātmā yastu svārthe pramādyati. Durlabhaṃ mānuṣaṃ dehaṃ prāpya tatrāpi pauruṣam. Itaḥ ko nvasti mūḍhātmā yastu svārthe pramādyati. Durlabhaṃ mānuṣaṃ dehaṃ prāpya tatrāpi pauruṣam. Durlabhaṃ mānuṣaṃ dehaṃ prāpya. See now, Sanskrit time. Labdhvā was said in the previous verse, if you remember. Labdhvā, I told you, is a incomplete verb. So, after labdhvā, there has to be a complete word. And that was vinihanti. Vinihanti was there, isn't it? Saha mūḍhadhīḥ ātmahā svaṃ vinihanti. One who does not put efforts, having gained all these things. So, labdhvā, like that. Now, this the tvānta, one kind of incomplete verb. Labdhvā, kritvā, drishtva, śrutva. Now, second kind of incomplete verb is prāpya. It's called lyabanta. Anusritya. So, what does it mean? Prāpya. Meaning is same. Having gained. Labdhvā and prāpya meaning are same. Meanings are same. Labdhvā, having gained. Prāpya, having gained. What? Durlabhaṃ mānuṣaṃ dehaṃ prāpya. Having gained the rare human deha body. Human birth. And now no need of explanation. We have seen this. Tatrāpi pauruṣam. And even there in the human life, in the human body, pauruṣam, you have got human qualities. Having got this, having gained this, kahanu asti? Who is there? Shankaracharya is asking, who is there? Mūḍhātmā. Mūḍhātmā, a fool. Itaḥ. Itaḥ means greater than this. Who is greater fool than a person? Yah, one who svārthe pramādyati. Pramādyati, falters, is careless. Pramāda means carelessness. Is not serious. Where? Svārthe. Svārthe here means what? In the matter of the self. Svārthe. In the matter of the self. In the matter of spirituality, one who is careless is the greatest fool. That's what Shankaracharya is saying. He is saying, who is a greater fool than one who falters in the matter of self? Means what? One who doesn't put efforts in spiritual life to gain liberation, to understand the self. Who is greater fool than this? Itaḥ mūḍhātmā. Greater fool kaha asti nu. Who is there? Means what? He is the greatest fool. Who? If we don't put efforts, then we will become that. Itaḥ ko nvasti mūḍhātmā yajantu svārthe pramādyati. Now the word svārtha also is many times in our common parlance we use svārtha for selfishness. But basically svārtha means what? For one's own benefit. That's what svārtha means. So one who doesn't put efforts in one's own benefit is indeed a fool, yes or no? See, for worldly things also we say this, that whenever you earn money, you should always save. It's in your own benefit. Do we say this or not? To every youngster, do we give this advice or not? That a percentage of your earning you should save. And one who doesn't do that, what do we call him? A fool. We call. Yes or no? In the matter of physical health also we say that you must take rest. Why? Because you have to work hard. So the rest is must. And one who doesn't do that, what do you say? Arey, it is for your own benefit. You are a fool if you don't do it. Now, what is the greatest benefit of us? Is to get liberation. If all these worldly things are for our benefit, but they are for our benefit in the world, the greatest benefit is what? To get that liberation. The purpose of our human birth to fulfill, that's what is the greatest thing. One who doesn't put efforts in that direction, such a person is the greatest fool. Guruji says, running behind what is urgent, we forget what is essential. See how beautiful. Running behind what is urgent, we forget what is essential. Means what? Suppose I have to go somewhere and therefore I am running, fast, packing, etc. I have to go there and then, but I have to also remember that filling petrol is essential. I cannot say that no, there is no time. Then the time will come. For what? To be on the road and ask for help. Why? Because what is essential must be done. Running behind what is urgent, we forget what is essential. Running behind all the worldly achievements. I want to have more and more wealth, family, stability, promotion. We forget the essential factor is our own progress, spiritual progress. Let us not ignore that. How much importance we give to physical health, material prosperity, family life, more importance should be given to one's spiritual progress. Why? Because it is essential. It is really essential. See, we say that money is essential to live. True. But only up to certain extent. Isn't it? Actually, the essential thing to live is air, water, food. These are the essential things which are free. You don't need to give money to breathe. Isn't it? We have created a world where money is essential to live. This world we have created, where the money or the water also you have to buy. Isn't it? That is something that we have created. Nature has given us free, whatever is essential thing to live. Right? And it's not wrong to say that these things are essential in living, but what is essential for life? That is spirituality. That should not be ignored at any cost. In any situation, in any case, we should not ignore it. We should not put it in the bag saying that non-priority task. No, it should always remain our priority. Therefore, he says, itaḥ ko nu asti mūḍhātmā. Who is a greater fool? Yastu svārthe pramādyati. Than the one who falters, who is careless, who is not serious about one's own self-progress towards the spiritual liberation. Who is a greater fool? Having gained durlabhaṃ mānuṣaṃ dehaṃ, having gained the rare human body, and there also having gained the human qualities, one who doesn't put efforts, who falters, who is careless about this matter, there is no greater fool. Therefore, what? I must put efforts. Yes, Swamiji, ready. Tell me now how I am going to get liberation. What should I do? Shankaracharya cautions us that in the haste, don't be deluded that anything spiritual I do, I will get liberation, he says. Let us read the next verse, verse number 6. Please repeat. Vadantu śrāstrāṇi yajantu devān.
Vadantu śrāstrāṇi yajantu devān.
Kurvantu karmāni bhajantu devatāh.
Kurvantu karmāni bhajantu devatāh.
Atmaikyabodhena vina vimuktihi. न सिद्ध्यति ब्रह्माśatāntare'pi. वदन्तु शास्त्राणि यजन्तु देवान् कुर्वन्तु कर्माणि भजन्तु देवताः आत्मैक्यबोधेन विना विमुक्तिः न सिद्ध्यति ब्रह्माśatāntare'pi. What is he saying? Let us understand the meaning, then we will go. Śāstrāṇi vadantu. Chant or read the scriptures. Śāstrāṇi vadantu. Somewhere Pathabheda is also there. Pathantu Śāstrāṇi yajantu devān. In some texts, Vivekachoodamani, in some books, you will also see this. So this is called as Pathabheda. Pathabheda means a different reading of the verse. Some word is different. Both are okay here. Pathantu or vadantu, both mean the same. You may chant or read scriptures. Yajantu devān, devān yajantu. You may propitiate the deities. Yajantu, yajanam means the worship through yajna, yaga, etc. Devān yajantu. You may put efforts in worshipping or propitiating the deities. Kurvantu karmani. Perform actions. Karmani kurvantu. Perform actions. Bhajantu devataha, or you worship the devatas, you worship the gods. What? Atma aikya bodhena vina. Vina, without. Atma aikya bodha, the knowledge of identity, aikya, of Atma, self. Atma aikya bodhena vina, without the knowledge of identity of the self. What do you mean by knowledge of identity of the self? That the supreme Brahman which we want to attain is my own self. Remember the first session we had seen this. Our goal is what? To attain that supreme, which is of the nature of bliss. But the knowledge that the supreme Brahman is me, aikya, there is identity between that supreme and the self. Without this knowledge, vimuktihi na siddhyati. Vimuktihi, liberation, supreme liberation, visheshena muktihi, supreme liberation, na siddhyati, is not attained. Brahmaśatāntare'pi, api even, brahmaśata antare, even in the lifespan, antara means lifespan, brahmaśata of 100 Brahmaji. Means what? The first line of the verse gives us different sadhanas. Śāstrāṇi vadantu. The first sadhana which is generally taught to all the beginners is to chant, recite the scriptures. Vedo nityamadhiyatam taduditam karmasvanushtiyatam. So that first step is what? Vedaha nitya adhiyatam. You study the Vedas, study how to chant the Vedas. Shankaracharya, what is he saying? You do that, vadantu śāstrāṇi. Yajantu devān, then you start propitiating different deities for gaining something, for gaining what is this called as sakama karma, actions performed with some desire, with some selfish desire, that if I do this, I will go to Swarga. If I do this, I will get Pitruloka. If I do this karma with this upasana, I will get higher world. If I do this, then I will... These kind of propitiating the deities. So, I am performing actions to take their favor of the deities. Yajna yagadi. Kuruvantu karmani. You perform actions. So, here actions means what? Karma kanda actions. Or bhajantu devataha. Or devataha bhajantu. You do upasana. So, upasana kanda also if you follow. But by doing only these things, you won't get liberation. Brahmaśatāntare'pi, even in the lifespan of 100 Brahmas, if you do only these things, you will not get liberation. Why? Atmaikya bodhena vina vimuktihi na siddhyati. Without the knowledge of the identity of the self, without the knowledge, without the self-knowledge, vimuktihi na siddhyati. Liberation is not possible. Liberation is not gained, not attained. Careful. Shankaracharya is not saying that you don't, Shankaracharya is not saying that you don't read Shastras, don't propitiate devatas, don't do actions, don't worship gods. He is not saying that. What is he saying? Only with this, you won't get liberation. Why? Because liberation can be attained only by knowledge, by the self-knowledge. This is what is called as necessary and sufficient condition. So, self-knowledge is necessary for liberation and sufficient for liberation. If that self-knowledge is not gained, if I have not understood that Atmaikya Bodha, if I have not got that knowledge of the unity or identity of the self, then these sadhanas will help me to gain that. But by doing only these sadhanas, I will not get liberation. Now, anybody who has studied Vedanta, Atmabodha, etc. should immediately remember one verse. The second verse of the Atmabodha. Bodhonyasadhanebhyo hi sakshan mokshaika sadhanam pakasya vannivat jnanam vina moksha na siddhyati. What does that verse say? Anya sadhanebhya, as compared to the other sadhanas. What are the other sadhanas? These are the other sadhanas. Vadantu, śrāstrāṇi, yajantu, devān, kurvantu karmani, bhajantu devata. These are the other sadhanas. As compared to them, bodha, knowledge, sakshat mokshaika sadhanam, is the single direct means for liberation. Jnanam vina, without the self-knowledge, moksha na siddhyati, liberation is not gained. Liberation is not possible. Like what? Pakasya vannivat. Example given in Atmabodha is what? Like fire for cooking. Means what? If you want to cook, there are so many things that you need to do before that. You need to cut vegetables, prepare the masala and everything. But suppose you do all that and then you take one vessel also and put everything there, but forget to light the fire. Then cooking will not be possible. You do all the other things, but don't do the essential thing, you won't get result. Now, please also understand, suppose you only put fire, but did not do any preparation beforehand. Any cooking is possible? No. Here, because the emphasis is on the point that the liberation is not possible without the knowledge, Shankaracharya ji has kept the other sadhanas at subsidiary, because he wants to say that self-knowledge is the main sadhana. That doesn't mean that other sadhanas are not important, please. The point he wants to make here is, without the self-knowledge, all these sadhanas will go waste. Just like you do all the preparation for cooking and forget to light the fire, then all the other preparations have gone waste. Right? brahmaśatāntare'pi bodhena vina vimuktihi na siddhyati. Even in the lifespan of 100 Brahmaji. So let us just, for the sake of calculation, let us see how much is the lifespan of Brahmaji. Okay. Be ready for lots of numbers. I can't help it. This is what Shastra tells. What is that? We know our day. We know our year. Right? One day is 24 hours. 1 hour is 60 minutes. 1 minute is 60 seconds. We know all that calculation. 1 year is 12 months. That is 365 or 366 days. We know that calculation. Right? Now, 4,32,000 years. Our years. 4,32,000 years is Kali Yuga. So we have 4 yugas, no? In the calculation of what we say eras, we speak of 4 yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So Kali Yuga, which is the shortest as compared to the other 3, is 4,32,000 years. Okay. Double than that, that is 8,64,000 years, is Dwapar Yuga. Okay. So you can say 4,32,000 is equal to x. Then 2 times that 2x is Dwapar Yuga. 3x, 3 times the span of Kali Yuga is Treta Yuga. Right. So that is 12,96,000 years. And 4 times the span of Kali Yuga is Satya Yuga, 4x. Okay, that will be some 17 lakh something will be there. Now, what is the point? So, suppose you take all these 4 yugas together, Satya Yuga plus Treta Yuga plus Dwapar Yuga plus Kali Yuga, it will be 4x plus 3x plus 2x plus x, that is 10x. Isn't it? 4 plus 3, 7, 7 plus 2, 9, 9 plus 1, 10. 10x. 10x means 43,20,000 years. This span is called as one Chaturyuga, or otherwise called as one Mahayuga, where all the 4 yugas are put together. 43,20,000 years is one Chaturyuga. 1,000 Chaturyugas. 1,000 Chaturyugas is 1 day of Brahmaji. 1 day of Brahmaji. And day, okay, day means day, not night. Only day of Brahmaji, when Brahmaji's 1 day is 1,000 Chaturyugas on earth. That is for humans. That is 10x into 1000. Okay, that is 1 day. Now same span will be for 1 night, where pralaya will happen. So we will not know anything. Brahmaji will be sleeping. Therefore, so 2 into this whole thing. This is 1 full day of Brahmaji. What we call as 24 hours for us, this is 1 full day of Brahmaji. Like that, 365 days is his 1 year. Like that, 100 years is the lifespan of 1 Brahmaji. Like that, 100 Brahmajis. That's what Shankaracharya is saying. He says, if you continue to do all the other sadhanas without gaining knowledge for this much time, even then you won't get liberation. Swamiji, too much. What is happening? Okay, 4,32,000 into 10 into 1,000 into 2 into 365 into 100 into 100. This is the lifespan of 100 Brahmajis. Without knowledge, even if for this much time you do all other things, still you won't get liberation. In short, without self-knowledge, liberation is not possible. That's the point. But you see, that is the beauty of kavya, poetry, that he puts it in such a beautiful way. Vadantu śāstrāṇi yajantu devān, kurvantu karmāni bhajantu devataha, atmaikya bodhena vina vimuktihi na siddhyati brahmaśatāntare'pi. Right? Even in such a long span, without this knowledge, liberation is not possible. But who told you? Shankaracharya ji, who told you that liberation is not possible without knowledge? Shankaracharya says, Upanishad says so. I am not saying anything from my own mind. See, this is the beauty of parampara, no? That we say this has come, this knowledge has come in parampara only. So, if I am making a point that without self-knowledge liberation is not possible, it has Shruti Pramana, it has got complete reference from the Upanishad that he gives in the next verse. Let us see, verse number 7. Amritatvasya nashasti vitte netyeva hi śrutihi braviti karmano muktehe ahetutvam sphutam yatah. Amritatvasya nashasti vitte netyeva hi śrutihi braviti karmano muktehe ahetutvam sphutam yatah. What is he saying? Yatah, since, because. Shrutihi, the Veda, the Upanishad, sphutam braviti, clearly explains, clearly tells, proclaims very clearly. What? Evahi, indeed. Yataha shrutihi sphutam braviti evahi. Since the Vedas very clearly explaining what? Amritatvasya nashasti vittena iti. What is Shruti saying? Amritatvasya, of immortality, asha, possibility, vittena, by wealth, na asti, not there. Means what? By wealth, we cannot desire or hope, or it is not possible to gain immortality. So, this is actually a direct quote from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Amritatvasya nashasti vittena. This is the direct quote taken from Brihadaranyaka, and therefore he uses the word iti. Iti is like double quote. So, I told you before also, nowadays for us we have all this printing etc. Therefore, we can put double quotes on both sides and we understand that whatever comes there is said by something, is quoted by from somewhere, isn't it? In those times, these printing equipment etc. was not there, and therefore iti word, when it is used, we have to understand that whatever happened before iti is a quotation. Amritatvasya nashasti vittena iti evahi shrutihi sputam braviti. So, Vedas, the Upanishads are clearly telling that by wealth, immortality or liberation cannot be gained. What do you mean by wealth? The wealth can be laukika, the worldly wealth, or it can be daivika, punya or virtues etc. Only by that you will not get liberation. Right? What is essential? Self-knowledge is essential. And therefore, by saying this, what is Shruti telling? What are the Vedas telling clearly? He says, karmanaha muktehe ahetutvam. Ahetutvam, not being the cause. Ahetutva. Hetu means cause. Hetutva means being the cause. Ahetutva means not being the cause. Karmanaha, of the action. Of the action, not being the cause muktehe for liberation. Means action is not the cause of liberation. Action cannot give me liberation. What can give me liberation? Self-knowledge alone can give me liberation. So by saying that amrutatvasya nashasti vittena, by wealth, whether it is laukika or daivika, by that amrutatvasya asha nasti, you cannot hope to gain immortality. By saying this, Shruti is clearly telling that liberation is not attained by any number of actions. Self-knowledge is the single direct means for liberation. This is what Shruti is telling clearly. So this section actually, just for your knowledge, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, one section is there where Yajnavalkya Rishi and Maitreyi, his wife, their discussion is happening. Why? Because this Yajnavalkya Rishi is already realized master. He is already a jnani. But he says that I am going to take sannyasa. He has got two wives, Gargi and Maitreyi. And then when he says that I am going to take sannyasa, what is called as vidvat sannyasa, renunciation of a realized. When he says like that, one wife is thinking that, why? So everything is going on nicely, you are already realized anyways. The second wife also says, what is there that you want to focus on even more? And in their discussion, this dialogue comes, this quote comes, where it is said, amrutatvasya nashasti vittena. By gaining more and more wealth, it is not going to be attained. Right? So that is what it is said in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Shruti, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is quoting, and now Shankaracharya says, you see here also it is said like, therefore, it is very clear that liberation is possible only by self-knowledge, not by any amount of actions. Right? Now again you go to Atma Bodha. We saw one verse which says that without the knowledge liberation is not possible. Very next verse says the same thing, that action cannot give liberation because action is not opposed to it. Action cannot destroy ignorance because it is not opposed to ignorance. And unless ignorance is destroyed, liberation is not possible. Isn't it? Verse number 3 and 4 are telling the same point Shankaracharya ji says here. Right? So, amrutatvasya nashasti vittena iti eva hi shrutihi braviti. Shruti braviti. Shruti says, karmanoho muktehe ahetutvam. That it is impossible to gain liberation by action. And therefore, self-knowledge is essential. This is the point Shankaracharya ji is trying to make. Why? You remember how we started? That we have got these rare things, human birth, human qualities, desire for liberation, Mahapurusha samshaya, coming in contact. Now don't waste this, otherwise we will be fools. We will be killing ourselves. Therefore, we must put efforts. Na yateta was said, therefore yateta we must put efforts. In which direction should we put efforts? That's what Shankaracharya is telling by these two verses. Put efforts to gain self-knowledge. That's what Shankaracharya also strengthens in the next verse. Ato vimuktyayi prayateta vidvan. We will be seeing that verse in the next session only. But that's what he says. Ataha, therefore, vidvan vimuktyayi prayateta. A wise person, not a mūḍhadhīḥ, not a mūḍhātmā, but a wise person who has understood this importance of spirituality should put efforts for liberation. How? By gaining knowledge. How that is to be done, that he will be explaining in the next verse. Before we conclude today, let us also see some points of Sanskrit. I was telling in the introduction session also that Vivekachoodamani is a beautiful confluence, of philosophy and poetry. As Gurudev would say, Vivekachoodamani's philosophy married to poetry. So no doubt he is giving a very high philosophical truths in a very poetic way. And therefore, I had mentioned one point there that different meters are used. We read the first verse, which is in a different meter. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam. This meter is called as Anushtup meter. Just some information you should have. Anushtup meter it is called. There will be 8 letters in one pada. One pada means 1/4 of the verse. So verse is divided into 4 quarters. Right? Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta 1/4. Gocharam Tamagocharam 2nd quarter. Govindam Paramanandam 3rd quarter. Sadgurum Pranatosmeham 4th quarter. In each quarter there will be 8 letters. You can count later on. Okay, that is called as Anushtup meter. The one that is used here. There can be some other meter also with 8 letters in 1 quarter. Okay, now we are not seeing that. Now 8 quarter is Anushtup. The second verse, if you see, Jantunam narajanma durlabhaṃ puṃstvaṃ tato viprata. This is the first quarter. Right? So how many? 19 letters. Jantunam 3, 7, 10, 12, 14, 16, 19, correct. 19 letters in 1 quarter. Such 4 quarters are there to make a complete verse. This kind of meter is called as Shardula Vikridita. There is a name of the meter. Shardula Vikridita. The names are also not randomly chosen. Okay. Shardula means lion or tiger, lion actually, lion. Vikridita means he is playing. The lion is playing. How will he be playing? That, what we say, the movement of the lion playing is the movement of this meter. Jantunam narajanma durlabhaṃ puṃstvaṃ tato viprata tasmād vaidika dharma marga parata vidvatvamasmat param. This is Shardula Vikridita. Again the third verse is an Anushtup. Correct? Durlabhaṃ trayame yateta devān again Anushtup. Now fourth one, labdhvā kathaṃcinnarajanma durlabhaṃ, is 12 what we say letters in 1 quarter. The meter is called as Indra Vajra. Indra Vajra, thunderbolt of the Indra. Labdhvā kathaṃcinnarajanma durlabhaṃ, that is the verse. Indra Vajra is the meter. Again fifth verse is in Anushtup. So 1, 3, 5 are in Anushtup, if you see. Durlabhaṃ trayame yateta, like that. Itaḥ nvasti mūḍhātmā yastu svārthe pramādyati. This Anushtup meter is what is there mostly in Bhagavad Gita, in Valmiki Ramayana, most of the places. This very famous Anushtup. Then the sixth one is 11 letters in 1 quarter. And because 11, 12 letters are very close, therefore we use the same tune. Labdhvā kathaṃcinnarajanma durlabhaṃ vadantu śrāstrāṇi yajantu devān. We use the same tune, but the formation is little different. 11 letters are there. This meter is called as upajati. Upajati. Upajati meter. Okay. Just for your information, I am telling you. Okay. Right. Now, amritatvasya nashasti. Again, 7th verse is again in Anushtup. So, basically what is happening is, he is changing the meters in every verse now. First in different, second in different, third in different, fourth in different, fifth in. He is changing. Right? Because it is beginning. Then one more verse also we will be seeing. 8th verse, which is in a, again in upajati meter only. That we will see in the next session. Ato vimukte prayateta vidvān. Isn't it? Verse number 8 also upajati. Then he continues Anushtup for some time, because he wants to make some topic So 9th verse onwards, everything will be anushtup for some time. All right. Okay. Right. Sufficient for today. We will continue in the next session. What is the main point of today's class? Don't forget. Having gained human birth, human qualities, if we don't put efforts to liberate ourselves, we are fools. We will be killing ourselves. And therefore, we must put efforts to liberate oneself. How? By gaining the self-knowledge. Why? Because without that self-knowledge, liberation is not possible. Right? These are the important points of today's session. We will continue in the next session with verse number 8. Next Sunday. Sadguru. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.